Imagine this. You're 68, retired nurse, sipping sweet tea on the porch of the house you paid off with 40 years of night shifts. When your daughter, your only child, calls and says, ice in her voice, "Mom, I sold your house. $1.8 million. The money's gone. Don't bother coming back." Click. Line dead. That house. The one you bought with your late husband's life insurance. The one with your grandkids' height marks on the kitchen doorframe. The one you promised your dying mother you'd never sell. Gone. Just like that. But here's the part that made me laugh so hard I dropped the phone while she thought she'd won. She forgot one tiny detail that turned her sold into my sweet, sweet revenge. Hi, I'm Margaret Maggie Thompson, 68, widow of 15, and keeper of the most fought-over colonial in Willow Ridge, Georgia. This is the true story that exploded on Reddit with 58,000 upvotes, got picked up by Dr. Phil, and taught every entitled daughter a lesson they'll never forget. Stay until the end of part 4. The twist at 42:17 will make you stand up and cheer. But first, has your kid ever tried to steal your home? Smash like if you're already raging, and subscribe. We drop a new betrayal every week. Let's start where it all began. My name is Margaret and Thompson, Maggie to everyone who's ever tasted my peach cobbler, and at 68, I've lived a life of love, loss, and hard-earned grit. I grew up in a shotgun house on the wrong side of the tracks in Macon, Georgia. Daddy was a mechanic, hands black with grease. Mama took in laundry, fingers raw from bleach. We weren't poor, we were broke with pride. Sundays meant church in our only good dresses, then fried chicken on a picnic table under the pecan tree. I was the oldest of 5, always the fixer. Bandaging knees, splitting my sandwich with little brother Ray, teaching sister June how to read with comic books. "Family's all we got, Maggie," Mama said, wiping flour from my cheek. I believed her. God, I believed her. High school was a blur of cheer practice and double shifts at the diner. I met Henry, my high school sweetheart, at the county fair. He won me a stuffed giraffe at the ring toss, grinning like he'd won the lottery. We married at 19 in the Baptist church, me in a $12 dress from Sears, him in his daddy's suit. Henry worked construction, I became a nurse, night shifts so I could be home when our girls woke up. We had 2, Claire, born with Henry's blue eyes and my stubborn chin, and little Ruth, quiet but fierce, always drawing in her sketchbook. Our first house was a fixer-upper, leaky pipes, cracked plaster, but we made it ours. Claire's first steps in the hallway, Ruth's crayon murals on the walls. Life wasn't easy. Henry's heart attack in '95 left me a widow at 42 with 2 teens and a mortgage. I worked doubles, took extra shifts in the ER, cried in the supply closet when no one was looking. But I paid off the house in 2008 with Henry's life insurance. Title: solely in my name. That's seed number 1 of revenge. Claire grew up fast, nursing school on my dime. Wedding I paid $45,000 for in 2018. She met Brandon, smooth-talking car salesman with a Rolex and a gambling habit. They moved to Atlanta, had 2 kids, Ella and Jack, and visits became rare. Ruth stayed close, artist, never married, lived in my basement apartment. 2020. Claire called crying. Brandon's in debt. $120,000 in poker losses. I wired $50,000. 2021. We need a bigger house. Another $30,000. 2022. Business loan. $25,000. Then I noticed Zillow alerts. Someone saving my listing. Profile: Claire Thompson Brandon. My heart sank. But I stayed quiet. That's seed number 2. June 22, 2024. 6:47 a.m. I'm in the kitchen baking biscuits when my phone rings. Claire. Claire, cold as winter. Mom, I sold your house. $1.8 million. The money's gone. Paid off Brandon's debts. Don't bother coming back. We're moving to Florida. Me, voice trembling. Sold? Claire, that's my house. Claire, you're 68. You don't need it. We gave you $100,000. Checks in the mail. Be grateful. Me, you forged my signature? Claire laughing. Power of attorney from 2020, remember? When you had COVID. Flashback, 2020 hospital bed, ventilator, Claire with papers. Me. That was for medical. Claire. Details. House is gone. Buy. Click. I called the title company. Paralegal. Closing yesterday. Funds wired to Thompson Luxury LLC. Registered to Brandon. My knees buckled. But I opened my lockbox under the floorboards. Inside, original deed, 2008, my name only. Revoked POA, notarized 2021. Survey from 2019 showing flood zone error. Hidden cameras in every room, Ruth's testimony. She witnessed the forgery. I'd been watching for 3 years. But she didn't know about the floodplain, or the heirloom clause, or the trust. June 23 to 9:15 a.m. Claire calls from the airport, gloating. Claire. Flights boarding. Did you get the check? Me, calm as Sunday. Yes, honey. But you forgot one thing. Claire. What are you talking about? Me, bursting out laughing. The house you sold? It was never yours to sell. Let me count the ways you destroyed yourself. 1. The deed. 2008. Sole owner. Margaret A. Thompson. Your POA. Revoked 2021. 2. The survey. 2019 floodplain error. I paid $18,000 to rezone. Your buyer's foundation? Now in a 100-year flood zone. Insurance. Uninsurable. 3. The heirloom clause. Henry's will. House passes to Ruth if I die. You get nothing. 4. The trust. I moved the deed into a revocable trust in 2022. Your sale. Void. 5. The cameras. 4K footage of you and Brandon forging docs. Sent to FBI this morning. Wire fraud. Claire screaming. You're lying. Me, check your email. Claire opens phone. PDF of voided closing, her signature circled. Subject, federal indictment incoming. Me, buyers suing you for $1.8 million. Have fun in Florida. Hope the trailer park takes Venmo. Audio, Claire sobbing as boarding call plays. I hang up, sip tea on the porch. Birds chirp. Smiles. July 2024. Claire arrested at Atlanta airport. Wire fraud, forgery. Brandon skips town. Buyer drops lawsuit against me. Settles for $900,000 from their insurance. I kept the house. Added a plaque by the door. In memory of Henry, love protects what greed cannot touch. Posted on r/pro revenge. Daughter sold my house to pay husband's gambling debt. Forgot I'm a nurse who documents everything. 58,000 upvotes, 12 awards. Dr. Phil called. Now, Ruth lives upstairs. Grandkids visit every weekend. I teach them to bake biscuits where their grandpa did. Claire serving 36 months in federal prison. Sends letters begging forgiveness. I reply with postcards. Wish you were here. Oh wait, you're not. Lesson. Never underestimate a widow who's buried a husband, raised a gambler's wife, and still knows how to smile while plotting. That laugh on the phone? It wasn't cruelty. It was justice. Like if you'd laugh too. Comment your family debt drama. Subscribe. Next week. Sister stole my inheritance. I stole her fiancé. Easter egg at the end. Hidden in the kitchen doorframe. Henry's old measuring tape engraved. Ours forever. Fade out on sunrise. Maggie whispers. Told you I'd keep it, love. I paid $45,000 for Claire's wedding, wired $105,000 to cover Brandon's gambling debts, and watched my only daughter grow cold. I saw the Zillow alerts. I stayed quiet. But nothing prepared me for the morning she called and said my house was sold. June 22, 2024. 6:47 a.m. I'm in the kitchen rolling out biscuit dough, flour dusting the counter like fresh snow, when my phone buzzes on the windowsill. Caller ID, Claire. I wipe my hands on the apron Henry bought me in '89, faded roses, still soft, and answer with a smile. Morning, baby. You packed for Florida. Claire's voice is flat, airport noise behind her. Mom, I sold your house. $1.8 million. The money's gone. Paid off Brandon's debts. Don't bother coming back. We're moving to Florida. The rolling pin freezes mid-air. Flour puffs into the air like smoke. My voice comes out small. Sold? Claire, that's my house. Claire laughs, sharp, like glass breaking. You're 68. You don't need 6 bedrooms. We're giving you $100,000. Checks in the mail. Be grateful. I grip the counter, knuckles white. You forged my signature? Claire, colder now. Power of attorney from 2020, remember? When you had COVID and were intubated. Flashback, 2020 ICU, tubes down my throat. Claire at my bedside with a clipboard, eyes darting. I signed in a fog of morphine and fear. That was for medical decisions. I say, voice rising. Claire. Details, Mom. The house is gone. Bye. Click. The line dies. The biscuit dough collapses under my fist. I call the title company on speaker, hands shaking so hard I misdial twice. Paralegal board. Yes, Mrs. Thompson. Closing was yesterday at 3 p.m. Funds wired to Thompson Luxury LLC. I whisper, registered to whom? Paralegal, Brandon Michael Reed. My knees buckle. I sink to the linoleum, apron pooling around me like a surrender flag. But then, I laugh. One short bark at first, then another, until I'm doubled over, tears mixing with flour on my cheeks. Because Claire forgot 5 fatal flaws. I crawl to the pantry, pull up the loose floorboard Henry installed in '96, our secret hiding spot for Christmas cash, and open the lockbox. Inside, neat as a nurse's chart, original deed, recorded 2008, my name only. Revoked power of attorney, notarized 2021, never filed. Survey from 2019 showing flood zone error. 4 microcameras, still blinking red. Ruth's sworn affidavit, she witnessed the forgery. I'd been documenting for 3 years. But she didn't know about the floodplain, or the heirloom clause, or the trust, or the insurance policy, or the FBI tip line. June 23 to 9:15 a.m. My phone rings again. Claire. Airport louder now. Boarding calls. Crying baby. Claire, smug. Flight's boarding. Did you get the check? I'm on the porch now, sweet tea in hand, rocking chair creaking like it's laughing with me. Yes, honey, I say, calm as Sunday service. But you forgot one thing. Claire, impatient. What are you talking about? I let the silence stretch, just the cicadas and the distant train whistle, then burst out laughing, full belly, tears streaming down my cheeks, phone on speaker so the neighbors can hear. The house you sold. I gasp between giggles. It was never yours to sell. Let me count the ways you just destroyed your life. 1. The deed. Recorded 2008. Sole owner. Margaret A. Thompson. Your POA. Revoked 2021. I filed it with the county the day after Ruth saw you practicing my signature in the guest room. 2. The survey. 2019 floodplain error. I paid $18,000 to rezone. Your buyer's foundation? Now in a 100-year flood zone. Insurance company just denied coverage. 3. The heirloom clause. Henry's will. House passes to Ruth if I die. You get nothing. Not a brick. 4. The trust. I moved the deed into a revocable living trust in 2022. Your sale. Legally void. 5. The cameras. 4K footage of you and Brandon forging docs at my kitchen table. Timestamped. Sent to the FBI white-collar division this morning. Wire fraud. Federal crime. Claire's breath hitches. You're lying. I sip my tea. Check your email. Reenactment. Claire at the gate, phone trembling. Opens inbox. PDF of voided closing packet. Her signature circled in red. Subject line, Federal indictment incoming, U.S. Attorney's Office. Attachment. Still from camera. Claire practicing Margaret A. Thompson 47 times on a legal pad. Claire screams. This is harassment. Me still laughing. No, baby. This is justice. Oh, and the buyer. He's suing you for $1.8 million in damages. Have fun in Florida. Hope the trailer park takes Venmo. Audio. Claire sobbing, boarding call for Tampa. Gate agent. Ma'am, your flight. I hang up. The rocking chair creaks. Birds chirp. I smile. But the story doesn't end here. Because Claire didn't just sell my house. She stole from the wrong widow. And I had one more surprise waiting in the wings. July 2024. Claire arrested at Hartsfield-Jackson. Wire fraud. Forgery. Conspiracy. Brandon skips town. Last seen in Panama City with a duffel bag. Buyer drops lawsuit against me. Settles for $900,000 from their title insurance. I kept the house. Added a plaque by the front door. In memory of Henry, love protects what greed cannot touch. Posted on r/pro-revenge. Daughter sold my house to pay husband's gambling debt. Forgot I'm a nurse who documents everything. 58,000 upvotes, 12 awards. Dr. Phil called, twice. Now, Ruth lives upstairs. Grandkids visit every weekend. I teach them to bake biscuits where their grandpa measured their height on the doorframe. Claire serving 36 months in federal prison. Sends letters on prison stationery. Mom, I'm sorry. I reply with postcards from my porch. Wish you were here. Oh wait, you're not. Lesson. Never underestimate a widow who's buried a husband, raised a gambler's wife, and still knows how to smile while plotting. That laugh on the phone? It wasn't cruelty. It was justice. Like if you'd laugh too. Comment your family debt drama. Subscribe. Part 3 drops in 48 hours. The FBI raid, the gambling tapes, and the final twist that made Claire beg from behind bars. Easter egg, hidden in the kitchen doorframe, Henry's old measuring tape engraved, ours forever. Fade out on sunrise. I whisper, told you I'd keep it, love. I laughed while Claire screamed at the airport gate. She thought she'd sold my house for $1.8 million to pay Brandon's gambling debts. She forgot the deed, the trust, the flood zone, the cameras, and the revoked POA. The FBI already had the forgery footage. Claire was arrested. Brandon vanished. I kept the house. But the real bombshell? It was just getting started. July 15, 2024, 5:42 a.m. I'm on the porch, coffee steaming in Henry's old mug, when 3 black SUVs roll up the gravel driveway like a funeral procession. FBI. Doors fly open. Agents in windbreakers. Badges flashing. Lead agent, Special Agent Ramirez. Tall, no nonsense. Mrs. Thompson? We have a warrant. I sip my coffee. Come on in, y'all. Biscuits are warm. Reenactment. Agents swarm the house. Gloves, evidence bags, UV lights. One lifts the loose floorboard, finds the lockbox. Another pulls the micro SD cards from the cameras. Ramirez holds up the forged closing packet. Ma'am, this is a federal crime. Wire fraud, conspiracy, forgery across state lines. I nod. I know. I sent you the tip. Flashback. March 2023. Ruth catches Claire and Brandon in the kitchen at 2 a.m. Claire practicing my signature on a legal pad. 47 times. Ruth hides in the pantry. Phone recording. Audio. Claire whispering. Once Mom's gone, the house is ours. Brandon. We'll flip it for $2 million. Pay off Vegas. Ruth texts me from the pantry. Call 911? I reply. No. Record everything. We're building a case. That night, I install 4 4K cameras. Kitchen, living room, office, garage. Motion activated, cloud backup, military-grade encryption. I label the files. Operation Karma. July 16 to 9:07 a.m. My phone buzzes. Unknown number. I answer on speaker. Claire, voice hoarse from a holding cell. Mom? They took my phone. Brandon's gone. They say 36 months. I rock in the chair, cicadas loud. You forged my name, baby. Claire sobs. It was Brandon's idea. He said you'd never notice. I laugh, soft this time. Notice. I documented every penny, every lie, every tear. Claire, can you bail me out? Me. With what? The $100,000 check you mailed? It bounced. Silence. Then, Mom, please. I hang up. July 18th, FBI press conference on my front lawn. Ramirez, thanks to Mrs. Thompson's cooperation, we've dismantled a real estate fraud ring operating in 3 states. Over $12 million in stolen equity. Cameras flash. I stand beside her in my Sunday dress. Reporter, Mrs. Thompson, why didn't you stop it sooner? Me, because justice tastes better when it's slow-cooked. Reenactment. FBI raids Brandon's poker den in Panama City. Agents kick in the door. Brandon at a green felt table, chips stacked high. $420,000 in cash seized. Hidden in the ceiling, cassette tapes. Brandon bragging to loan sharks. Old lady's house is worth $2 million. Claire's signing today. Tape plays in court. Jury gasps. Claire in orange jumpsuit, sobs in the defendant box. But here's the gambling twist Claire never saw coming. Henry's life insurance wasn't just $300,000. It was a secret trust. $1.2 million in municipal bonds, untouchable by spouses or creditors. I moved it in 2021. Claire's name? Never on it. Brandon's debt? Uncollectible from me. The house? Never in play. Claire sold heir. The buyer? A shell company I set up with Ruth. Thompson Legacy LLC. We never transferred title. The $1.8 million? My money, routed through 3 banks, laundered back to me as closing costs. The buyer's lawsuit? Dismissed. Claire's prison sentence? Extended to 60 months for conspiracy to commit wire fraud. Brandon? Extradited. Serving 12 years in federal. August 2024. I host a block party. Neighbors bring casseroles. Kids chalk the driveway. Welcome home, Grandma. Ruth unveils a mural on the garage. Henry and me on the porch. Grandkids at our feet. Title: Love, Greed. Claire's final letter arrives. Prison stamp, shaky handwriting. Mom, I was wrong. Forgive me. I write back on a postcard of the porch at sunset. Forgiveness isn't free. Earn it. M. I mail it with a biscuit recipe. Lesson: never underestimate a widow who's buried a husband, raised a gambler's wife, and still knows how to smile while the FBI knocks. That laugh on the phone? It wasn't cruelty. It was orchestration. Like if you'd set the trap too. Comment your FBI-level revenge. Subscribe. Part 4 drops in 48 hours. The final twist, the grandkid surprise, and the one thing Claire begged for from behind bars. Easter egg, hidden in the mural, Henry's old poker chip engraved. House always wins. Fade out on laughter. I whisper. Told you I'd keep it, love. The FBI raided. The gambling tapes played in court. Claire got 60 months. Brandon got 12 years. The house was never sold. I kept every penny. The buyer was my shell company. The $1.8 million came back to me. Claire begged from prison. I sent biscuit recipes. But the final chapter? It's the one that broke her. And healed us. September 2024. 8:03 a.m. I'm in the kitchen, flour on my apron, when the front door bursts open. Ella and Jack, my grandbabies, run in, backpacks bouncing. Ella, 10, Grandma. We're moving in. Jack, 7, Mom said we're staying forever. Behind them, Ruth, arms full of suitcases, eyes red from crying. I drop the rolling pin. What in heaven? Ruth. Claire signed over custody. Full surrender. She's done. Flashback. August 15th, 2024. Federal Prison Visiting Room. Claire in orange, hair in a bun, no makeup. Glass between us. Claire, voice cracking. Mom, I can't raise them in here. Brandon's gone. I have nothing. Please, take them. Me, silent. Claire slides a paper under the slot. Voluntary termination of parental rights. I don't touch it. Why now? Claire sobs. Because I finally saw the tapes. You planned it all. The shell company. The trust. The cameras. You let me dig my own grave. I lean in. No, baby. You dug it. I just handed you the shovel. Claire, take the kids. Give them the porch. The biscuits. The love I threw away. I sign. September 20th. Custody hearing. Judge. Mrs. Thompson, you're 68. Are you prepared to raise 2 minors? I stand in my Sunday dress. Your Honor, I raised their mother on night shifts and prayers. I can do it again. Judge stamps. Approved. September 25th. Moving day. Ruth and I repaint the kids' rooms. Ella picks sunflower yellow. Jack wants outer space. We hang Henry's old fishing rods on the wall. Plaque above the door. In memory of Henry, love protects what greed cannot touch. October 2024. First family dinner in the new era. Table set for 5. Biscuits steaming. Fried chicken crackling. Ella, Grandma, tell us about Grandpa. I pull out the old photo album. Henry holding baby Claire. Claire holding baby Ella. Full circle. Jack, did Mom really try to sell our house? I nod. She did. But love doesn't sell. Ruth raises her glass. To second chances. We clink. November 2024. Claire's final letter arrives. Prison stamp. One line. Mom, can I have the biscuit recipe? The real one. With the secret ingredient. I laugh. The secret ingredient. Love. I write back on a postcard of the kids on the porch swing. Earn it. 1 visit at a time. M. I include the recipe. Minus the love. She'll have to add that herself. December 2024. Christmas. Tree in the living room. Lights twinkling. Stockings. Maggie, Ruth, Ella, Jack, and one empty one labeled Claire. Ella hangs an ornament. Home is where Grandma is. Jack whispers. Do you think Mom will ever come back? I hug him. When she's ready to love more than she takes. Ruth unveils the final surprise. She's been saving. She hands me an envelope. Inside, $1.8 million cashier's check. From the shell company liquidation. Every penny Claire thought she stole. Ruth. For the kids' college. And a new porch swing. I cry. January 2025. Present day. I'm on the porch at sunrise. Coffee in Henry's mug. Kids asleep inside. Ruth painting in the studio. The house is louder now. Messier. Alive. Claire's first supervised visit is next month. She'll sit at the table. Eat biscuits. Earn her way back. The one thing she begged for? Not the house. Not the money. Not even forgiveness. A seat at the table. And I'll give it. 1 biscuit at a time. Lesson. Never underestimate a widow who's buried a husband, raised a gambler's wife, and rebuilt a family from the ashes of betrayal. That laugh on the phone? It wasn't cruelty. It was redemption in progress. Like if you'd open the door too. Comment your family comeback story. Series complete, but subscribe. Next week, a brand new 4-parter. I gave my sister $200K. She left me homeless. Easter egg, hidden in the new porch swing. Henry's old wedding ring engraved, ours forever. And now there's fade out on sunrise. I whisper, told you I'd keep it, love. The kids laugh inside. The biscuits rise. Home.